can you restore hope and restore your vitality? Hi, I'm Chester Elton, and with me is my dear friend and co-author, Adrian Gostick.
Well, thanks, Jess. Today our guest is a neuroscientist who's going to help us understand more about the brain and how to take more control of our health and our happiness. As always, we hope the time you spend with us will help reduce the stigma of anxiety at work and in your personal life.
And with us is our new friend, Dr. David Stevens, the founder, president, and CEO of Humanity Restored. David has a doctoral degree in clinical psychology from the University of Denver with an emphasis in neuropsychology. His work is restoring human function, not treating conditions or disorders. He is the former chief of mental health services for the state prison services of Colorado, Missouri, and Wyoming. He's the author of the new book, Restored Hope, a neuroscience guide to optimal brain and human function. David, we are delighted to have you on the show. Thank you for finding the time.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be with you.
Well, Chess, I think the biggest disappointment probably of your life that chocolate does not fix every ill.
Yeah, it doesn't restore your brain. I would have bet money that more chocolate equals smarter brain.
Hey, but we learned a lot there. And wow, really interesting, fascinating research on glucose or dextrose, whatever you decide. But so, it puts some neuroscience to what we've sort of known. The more stress we put ourselves under, the more bad thoughts inner voice has, the more we burn that glucose in our minds and we have to replenish. So a good reminder that what we're doing to our brains can be quite detrimental if we don't refresh.
Yeah. I thought it was really interesting. And we get this so often in our podcast, the power of nature.
Yeah.
Like he says, plants in a hospital room contribute to healing. Even pictures of nature,
Yeah.
which I thought was really interesting. I thought, well, doesn't that have to be like the real McCoy? No, he says, and you create those visuals, and we're already reinforcing all this negativity and causing more stress when even the prisons and the detention centers are so intimidating.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, that we're ever going to get to the point where, you
You
pull up
want
to
to
go to
go.
prison and it looks like a Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Yeah,
that.
but other countries are working on some of those types of ideas to make it, and as he says, there are people that need to be separated from society. They can't be maybe rehabilitated because of their, the drives that they have. But for a lot of people, it's a chance. And some people I've read in other countries, they go to prison, they come back and they go, I learned a skill. I was given counseling. I feel better about myself. As he says, my worth is not defined by my past behavior. I can be better.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting when he talked about infinite worthiness.
Yeah.
Such an interesting, definition that even if your behavior has been horrific, inside you have this infinite worthiness and this idea that so much of our lives is automated, right?
Mm.
Like tying your shoes.
Yeah.
Or tying the shoelaces on your shoes, which is why I go to slip-ons, right? That's true. I don't have to worry about leftover right.
That's a lot to memorize with that. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just, is it the left foot or the right foot? It is interesting, though, when you interrupt that and you say, hey, think about it, how it slows all down. We're talking about our friend Michael Bungay Stanier said 45% of our day is automated,
Yeah.
And we've all had that experience where, we're in the car and all of a sudden we're there and I go, geez, I don't remember you stopping at that stop sign or.
Yeah.
And so it is interesting, but that infinite worthiness to me really struck me.
It did to me too, because, a lot of times, especially if you have anxiety yourself or you have somebody on your team that, and as we know, half of people in their 20s have some level of sometimes crippling anxiety, and failure can feel like the end of the world. And what he's saying is, no, this doesn't affect your worthiness. We all learn from our missteps, and they're learning opportunities. I love that thought that he left us with.
Yeah. I think just to wrap up, it's this idea that everything can be restored. That was such a big claim he made right at the end.
Yeah.
That if you do it right, full cognitive restoration, no matter what you're. I'd be interested to read more about what he's done in certain areas, because that seems like a huge promise. And he said, yeah, it is, but I can do it. So
that's awesome.
Wish him well.
Well, we want to thank our producer, Brent Klein, who restores our hope every day. See how I did that, Chess? That was pretty.
I love the way you slipped that in. Yeah, very, very natural.
And to Christy Lawrence, who helps us find cool guests. And to all of you who listened in, if you like the podcast, download it, share it. We'd also love you to visit thecultureworks.com for some free resources to help you and your team culture thrive.
Yeah, and we love to speak to audiences, whether it's live or it's virtual, small executive teams or big auditoriums. We speak on culture, we speak on teamwork, resilience, And of course, don't hesitate to buy a copy of our book, Anxiety at Work. Isn't it funny? We got the book Anxiety, and then the podcast has the same name. There's kismet there. But give us a call. We'd love to speak at your next event. Adrian, as always, fun to spend some time with you, and I'll give you the last word.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. It was great to spend time with you too, Chess. Until next time, we wish you the best of mental health.